Shalom, shalom. Start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem Makakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shout out to the whole flesh, the 144,000. Shalom. Shalom, man. Get this lesson done right before I head back out to work this week. And yesterday I was about to elder about the Zopbot lesson, and he be going into he go into all things, but a lot of his lesson lately been on scoffers and mockers, how they be, how they act, things of that nature. And we gonna use it for edification purposes, right? So as I was watching it, the Spirit came upon me to do it because he read Galatians 4, right? And we'll go to it real fast. During his lesson, he read Galatians 4, and right, starting verse 22, right? And it says, "For it is written that Abraham had two sons, that one by a bondmaid, right? That was Hagar, right? Hagar, right? Egyptian servant, who was Abraham and Sarah, Egyptian servant, right? And it says the other by a free woman. That free woman was Sarah, right? He said, but he who was of the bondmaid, right, was born of the flesh, born after the flesh, but he of the free woman by promise. Who was the two sons? That was Ishmael and Isaac, right? Isaac was Ishmael was of the bondwoman of Hagar, right? And Isaac was born of Sarah, the free woman. He was of the promise, right? He says, which things are an allegory, for these are the two covenants. The one from Mount Sinai, which gendereth to bondage, which is Hagar, right? Hagar was we're gonna go to it in Genesis, but she was the Egyptian, she was the Egyptian servant, the Egyptian handmaid for Sarah, right? So it said, for Hagar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, and answer to Jerusalem, which is now, and is in bondage with her children. But Jerusalem, which is above all, is free, which is the mother of all. For it is written, rejoice, thou bearing the bearers, break forth and cry, thou that travailest not, for the desolate hath many more children than which she hath husband. Now we, brethren, as Isaac was, are the children of the promise, right? Because why? Isaac is the lineage go down from who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? We're the children of the promise, right? So going from there, I want to go to Genesis. And I got it jotted down just so I can, for time's sake. Let me see. Do I want to start in? Yeah. So Genesis chapter 9, right? I really read, let me see, I'll go to Genesis 16 right quick to get a few points on Hagar, right? So it said, now Sarah, Abraham's wife, bare him no children, and she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai, right? Because Apostle Paul was talking about this a minute ago. So Sarai means make sure I'm spelling it right. Yeah. Sarai means my princess, and Sarah means princess, right? Because she became the princess over all at that point, because going down from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob through the promise, right? That lineage, right? That's why she became princess of more than one, right? You know what I'm saying? Because at first she was Sarai, my princess, but now she's princess, right? That's why we don't have queens in our nation, right? Because queens is what? It's like the Roman, it used to be whores in the Roman, what's the word I'm looking for? In the Roman way, in the Roman knowledge, right? That's what they used to relate whores to as queens, right? But we got princesses, right? And Sarah means my princess, right? She belonged to just Abraham, but now she's princess, right? Because why? He's a princess over, because the seed go through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? And we know Most High told Abraham he was going to bless his seed as his seed was going to be abundance as the sand at sea, right? So it's a lot, it's a lot, right? So going on, it says, now Sarai, Abraham's wife, bare him no children, and she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarah said unto Abram, behold, now the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go unto my maid. It may be that I obtain children by her. And Abraham hearkened the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram, and dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. And when he went into Hagar, she conceived. She was pregnant, right? And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said to Abram, my wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord Yahweh judged between me and thee. But Abram said unto Sarai, behold, thy maid is in thy hand, to do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. Right? So she tried to run, right? But it says, the angel of the Lord found her, right? The angel of the Lord Yahweh found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, right? By the mountain, by the fountain in the way to Shur. And he said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence thou comest, and whence wilt thou go? She said, I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai. And the angel of the Lord said to her, return thy mistress and submit thyself under her hands. And the angel of the Lord Yahweh said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, there shall be numbered for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, it should not be numbered for multitude. And the angel of the Lord Yahweh said unto her, behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son. Thou shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction. And he will be a wild man, his hand will be against every man's hand against him. He shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. Right? So you really need to jump down, right? Once again, it says Hagar bare Abram's son, and Abram's son name which Hagar bare Ishmael, right? So that's that son of what? That's the son of a bondwoman, right? So going to Genesis 21, right? We'll read this and then we'll jump down, right? It says, and the Lord, verse 1, and the Lord Yahweh visited Sarah, right? He had said, the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abram a son in his old age, right? And he was older. I think at this time he 100, she 99, right? And that set the time of which Yahweh had spoken to him. Abram called the name of the son that was born to him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son, being 8 days old, as Yahweh had commanded him, right? So it says, and Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, which she had born to Abram, mocking. Wherefore she said to Abram, cast out this bondwoman, right? That it's in Galatians 4, right? The son of the bondwoman, right? They're born of the flesh, but you got the son of the free woman, who's born of the promise, right? So it says, and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be here with my son, even with Isaac, right? Here is someone who's set to receive something, right? And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And grievous means hard, right? And Yahweh said to Abraham, let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad and because of thy bondwoman, and all that Sarah has spoken, all that Sarah has said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, or in Isaac shall thy seed be called, man. So in Isaac shall thy seed be called, man. Because we know your lineage go down from who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. Right? He's the Most High. He's the power. He's the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? If you're not in that lineage, right, then guess what? You're not in the chosen. No matter how they try to put it, no matter what way they try to make it, right? They be trying to come up with all these things. Everybody's gonna be saved. This and that, whoop. Hey, if you're not of that lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man, you're not going to be saved, right? Even with all the Israelites, man, even Israelites are going to be destroyed, but they're going to be brought back into the kingdom, right? But the elect, the chosen ones who understand this knowledge, who understand this, and the ones who are going to be brought into the kingdom, the ones who are going to be brought through the fire. But the rest are going to be destroyed because they won't understand these things. They thinking that all the other people are going to enter into the kingdom this way. And that by no way says nothing about Esau. Because Esau like gonna be destroyed. They're gonna be tied up and done away with, man. Right? So therefore you thinking Esau, who's a so-called white man, gonna enter into the kingdom, you definitely going off, right? So Matthew 22, right? Verse 32, right? And it says, I am the power of Abraham and the power of Isaac and the power of Jacob. Yahweh is not the power of the dead, but of the living, right? Who's the God of? He's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If you're not of that lineage, man, you know, you gone. You know, you going through, right? You got nothing to do with you. You know, same thing. But they told the people of Israel when they build the temple up, and they like, oh yeah, we'll help you build a temple up to your God. No, and they told them ain't no need for y'all to. You know, our power is not your power, right? You know what I'm saying? Our God is not your God. He here for us. He the God of Israel, right? Because who is Jacob? Going to Genesis 32 and 28, right? Jacob's name was later changed to Israel, Prince of Power, right? When he wrestled with the angel, right? And the angel blessed him, right? I had Exodus 3 and 6, right? Right? And it says, moreover, he said, I am the power of thy father, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon Most High, right? Because you know when the Most High came to talk to, this when he set the bush on fire, he talking to Moses, and he about to send him into Egypt, you know, to save Israel, right? To save Israel out of Egypt, right? And we'll just keep reading on. He said, the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people, which are in Egypt. Who's enslaved in Egypt? The Israelites, man. He said, I have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. I am come to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them out of the land into a good land, and large, into a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, and the Jebusites, man, right? Because that's when even when I think it's Genesis 18 was talking about, you know, Abraham that's how he got the Egyptian made, because they was in that land. They was in that land where Abraham was in the Abraham was in that land for like 10 years, the Canaanite land, right? For the land of the Canaanites. Let's see that. I think it was Genesis 18. Let me see. I was just reading yesterday. Yeah, and right in verse 3, right? 16:3 says, and Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, right, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abraham had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, right? So, but going back, Genesis 3, right? So it said, now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression where the Egyptians oppressed them. Come now therefore, I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that might bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt, right? So you're not in that lineage of the children of Israel, man. You're not of the promise, right? You're not of the promise. Because what? He said, and Isaac shall that seed be called. You got one children that's born in the flesh. You got one children that's born in the promise, right? And this came upon me because some pastor that, you know, Elder Mazak, you know, he got on him, used for edification, but Elder Mazak, when he was reading Galatians 4, right, and dude was trying to make Galatians 4 seem like everybody's going to be saved, but the Galatians are Israelites from the church to Galatians, man, right? And if you're not in that, in Isaac shall that seed be called. If you're not in that lineage of, right, if you're not in that lineage of Isaac and Jacob, right, because I'm going to read Romans 9 and 4, right, to end it off, but I'm going to read Israel fast, because you got to think, you know, Ishmaelites is Abraham's sons, but they not in that chosen lineage. They not of the promise, right? Hebrews 11, right? Hebrews 11, verse 9, right? And it says, by faith he sojourned in the land of the promise, at a strange country, dwelling in the tabernacle with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. The heirs, right? The heirs. What is heirs? Someone who's set to receive something, man. Someone who is set to receive an inheritance, right? Because you know, Abraham got the promise of being a righteous man of Yahweh Shai. Then it went down to Isaac, right? Then it went down to Jacob, right? So therefore, it ain't dealing with no other nation, man. We the ones who got that promise, right? For you look for a city which has foundations, whose builder and maker is Yahweh, right? He says, through faith, Sarah also herself received strength to conceive and deliver a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even one of him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky, the multitude as the sand of the sea, which is by the seashore, innumerable, right? Because why? It's what my name not princess. Why it's not my princess. Now she's princess, right? Because when she had Isaac, well, Abraham, Isaac, you got Jacob. Our nation is spread about. That's why we can lay down with any woman, right? An Israelite man can lay down with any woman, and that child gonna be an Israelite, right? The lineage go from your father, right? So that's how we bring back the nation, man. We replenish, man. We're fruitful, right? Fruitful, multiply, right? But to end it off, man, just want to get that in, right? So the lineage is through who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If you're not of that lineage, man, then you're not of the promise, right? We'll start at verse 4, right? It says, I started at verse 3. Right? It says, for I could withstand myself were a curse from Mashiach, for my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh, who are Israelites, to whom pertains adaptation, the glory, the covenant, and giving of the law, and the service of Yahweh, and the promises, who are the fathers of whom, as according to the flesh, Hamashiach Yahweh came, who is over all, Yahweh blessed forever. Amen. Not as though the word of Yahweh had taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel. Right? Because what it said, neither because they are the seed of Abraham, right? Because you got Abraham had many sons, right? I got that in my notes. Abraham have 8 seeds, right? They got 8 sons, right? He got a lot of seeds, but they ain't that chose his lineage, man. They not of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Let's see if we can search that up real fast. Let me see. Excuse for notifications. Eight sons, right? He got 8 sons, right? He got 8 sons. So he got 8 sons, man. But he got 8 sons, right? But they're not of him, right? That's why I lost my thought, but not as though the word of Yahweh had taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel, neither because they are the seed of Abraham or their children, but and Isaac shall that seed be called. So the lineage goes from who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man, right? Because Abraham passed the blessing down to Isaac, and Isaac had 2 sons, Jacob and Esau, and Jacob got the blessing, right? We know Esau was born first, but he sold his blessing for a raw piece of meat, man. He sold his blessing for raw pottage, red pottage, man. He said, that is, they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of Yahweh, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed, going back to Galatians 4, right? Understanding, right? The children of the flesh are the other nations, but we're the children of the promise. That's why we read up the verse 1, right? It says, I say the truth. It's Paul talking. I say the truth, and Mashiach, I lie not. My conscience also bear me witness, in the Holy Spirit, right? Because it's a spiritual thing, man. Right, it's a spiritual thing, right? Because we just in these fleshy bodies just costumes, man. These fleshy bodies just costumes. But we gonna go back to our John 10:34. I was trying to tell him, have I not said ye are gods, right? First paraphrasing. We gonna also I think that's Psalms 82 verse 6, right? Let me see. Yeah, Psalms 82 and 7, right? It says, at 6 it says, I have said, you are gods, all you are children of the Most High. And children of Hebrew is sons, all you are sons of the Most High. But you shall die like men and fall like one of the princes, right? Because, come on, man, because when we get back to our kingdom, we're going to get back to our God-like standpoint, man. We're going to get back in our spiritual bodies. Ain't going to be no more sin, right? We're going to have the laws written down, right? We're going to be in our spiritual body. We're going to be done away with this flesh. Right? Ain't gonna be no more decay, no more get old, none of that. We always gonna look, that's when we get to the kingdom. That's why we are the promise, man. Right? It says, and not this only, but when Rebekah also had received what? Who Rebekah? Isaac and Rebekah had 2 sons, Jacob and Esau, right? Had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, For the children not being born, neither having done any evil or good, the purpose of Yahweh according to the election might stand, not of works, but of him he calleth. It was said unto her, the elders shall serve the younger. Who came out first? Esau, who came out after Jacob, right? Came out, holding on the heel, right? They bruised our head, we're gonna bruise their heel, right? In Genesis, right? It says, what shall we say then? Is there unrighteous with Yahweh forbid? For he said unto Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy on, and I will have compassion. It's like I skipped the verse. As it's written, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. Right, we're going back now. It said, for he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of Yahweh that showeth mercy. For the scripture said to Pharaoh, even as the same purpose I have raised thee up, that I might show thee, I will show my power in thee, that my name might be declared throughout all the earth, man. Right? But point being, man, is that, you're not of that lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. You're not of the promise. You're not of the promise, man. Right? You're not of the promise. You're not receiving these things. The kingdom ain't for you, man. The kingdom ain't for you. The kingdom is for the Hebrew Israelite, the Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Right? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Not of no other nation. He never dealt with any other nation. He gave us the law. Psalm 148. Right? He gave Israel the laws. Right? He gave us the laws. Right? And when we get into the kingdom, those laws and commandments will be written in our hearts and minds. Right? And there'll be no more sin. All this gonna be done away with. We're gonna get back into our spiritual bodies. Hold up, bro. Right, so ended off Psalm 148, right? It says, let them praise the name of the Lord, for his name alone is excellent. His glory is above the earth and heaven. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even the children of Israel, a people near unto him. It's like, I was caught up in the moment. So we are those saints too. That's a good point. We are those saints, but everybody ain't called to be a saint, right? We all saints, but everybody ain't called to be a saint. Only the elect called to be saints, right? But Psalm 147, without reading, right, it said, he showed his word to Jacob, his statutes and judgment to Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgment, they have not known them. Praise the Lord Yahweh, man. But therefore, man, and I just had that seed be called, man. You're not of that lineage, man. You're not of the chosen. Right, so with that being said, we gotta know this too. For this, man, he coming back with his elect. Yeah, we are Israel, but 2/3 gonna be destroyed, man, for lack of knowledge, man. He coming back with his elect. He wants to understand his knowledge. So with that being said, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadais. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the whole flesh, starting with 144,000. Shalom.